What if you could collect premiums by selling naked puts, but limit your maximum loss before you ever place the trade, and without needing a huge account to do it? Well, that's exactly why traders use the bull-put spread. This is a strategy built for neutral to slightly bullish markets, where the stock doesn't need to soar for you to make money. The stock just needs to stay above a certain price. That's it. And unlike selling a naked put alone, which can require significant buying power and expose you to a much larger downside if the stock drops, the bull-put spread gives you built-in protection. You still get paid upfront, you still benefit if the option expires worthless, but by adding a lower strike put, you cap your losses. And that defined risk scenario is exactly what allows retail traders to sell puts with small accounts. I'm talking about $1,000 or $2,000 or somewhere in that area. Of course, that protection does come with a trade-off. You collect less net premium than you would have by selling a naked put alone. But that's the whole point. Because the goal here is to collect income, manage your risk, and stay in the game long enough for the probabilities to work in your favor. And that's why in this video, I'm going to break down how bull-put spreads work, why they can be a safer alternative to selling naked puts alone, and what you need to watch for before placing your first trade. If you've been thinking of selling puts, this is absolutely a must-watch video. A bull put or a put credit spread is an options trading strategy that traders use to earn premium when the stock stays above a certain level. It involves selling a put option and simultaneously buying another put at a lower strike price on the same underlying asset and with the same expiration dates. The strategy starts with a net credit, and the long put gives the trade protection. I'll talk more about this one later. Bull puts are often used when you expect a more neutral or slightly bullish trading environment. With this trade, you get a defined profit and loss profile. You know how much you stand to gain or lose at the moment you enter the trade, unlike a naked put, where downside exposure can be significant, especially if the stock moves against you. Now, your maximum profit on a bull put spread is the net credit that you receive from the trade, and it crystallizes when the underlying trades above your short strike price at expiration. At the same time, the maximum loss is the difference between your strike prices or the width of the spread minus your net credit, and that'll happen when the underlying trades below your long put strike at expiration. On Barchart, you can see all those details with a simple click. You can access options trading data, including important metrics like volatility, Greeks, put-call ratios, expected move, and more. Now, the best thing about the bull-put spread is that it can be a high-probability strategy with the right mindset and execution. The goal is for the options to expire worthless. With a bull put, you're the one setting the rules. And the rules are, as long as the stock trades above a certain price, you make a profit. Even if it drops a little, you can still profit. So how does that work? Well, first you need to choose a strike price. And as with all credit spreads, you start out of the money, which in this case would be below the stock's current trading price. With that strategy, you're not fighting the market and hoping for a sharp price move. All the stock has to do is stay above that level until expiration for you to make a profit. Of course, there is a trade-off here. The safer your trade is, the less you're going to earn from it. And when I say safe, I do mean a combination of two things. First, you can start with a strike price that's way below the underlying's current trading price. However, the further the strike price is from the current underlying's price, the lower the credit you're going to receive from the trade. Second, you can set your short and long strike prices far apart. So even if the stock does dip beneath your short put, there's a low chance the trade will end at a maximum loss. But remember, losses are calculated based on the spread's width. So the wider the spread, the more potential loss there is. And bull puts have a lower net premium than selling naked puts alone. And that's because you need to buy the long put. But we buy the long put to limit our losses. And that brings me to position sizing, because nobody wants to blow up their accounts, right? Well, position sizing protects us exactly from that. Bull put spreads, they start with a credit. So aside from trading fees, you're getting paid up front. Now, spoiler, you're probably not going to get rich on a single trade. Realistically, you might get $1 or a couple $100 for every put spread, that you sell. So you might think, why don't I sell more in the first place and then stack the income? Well, on paper, that sounds perfectly reasonable. If one spread pays you $100, then 10 spreads should get you $1,000, right? Easy money. But here's the problem. When you're scaling your credit, you're also scaling your potential losses. They can carry very high risk-reward ratios, like more than 10 or 20 to 1. So yes, selling 10 bull puts making you $100 a trade will get you $1,000 up front. But if that comes with a risk-reward ratio of 10 to 1, then you're risking $10,000 in potential losses. And that's why when you enter your positions, you should always ask, how much could I potentially lose on this trade? And am I okay with that? Actually, this should probably be the trader's golden rule. Remember, if $10,000 represents 5% of your portfolio, maybe that's perfectly fine. But if you're trading with a much smaller account, say you've got $10,000 total, maybe you might want to think twice about that. Selling bull put spreads isn't about winning big. It's about staying in the game. And that's because opportunities will come and go. If you miss one or take less premium in exchange for safety, that's perfectly fine. But if every single one of your trades has the chance to wipe out your account completely, then these probabilities become irrelevant, especially in today's market when a single post on social media can send the markets rising or crashing. Okay, so enough about the theory. Let's look at some real-world examples. The first thing you're going to want to do is pick an underlying asset. Of course, Barchart's option screener is an excellent starting point and gives you trade ideas right off the bat, but sometimes you already have an underlying asset in mind. In my case, I've got two, Johnson & Johnson and Caterpillar. Why these two specifically? Well, both these companies are relatively stable, they're large cap names, and they both have strong foundations. Plus, they're at the forefront of healthcare and the industrial sectors, two of the most stable and defensive sectors in the market. And they don't usually swing 10 or 15% on a single headline. Instead, they tend to move in gradual, predictable trends. So with that in mind, I looked at the bull put premiums for Johnson & Johnson and Caterpillar back on March 30th. To do that, you just got to go to the stock's profile page, click vertical spreads, then the bull put tab right here. Then change the expiration date. Most traders choose between 30 and 45 days to expiration because it offers a good balance of premium and time decay and risk. They also give you the opportunity to adjust if something goes wrong. Now, when it comes to days to expiration, there is something called time decay, or Theta. In options trading, this is the phenomenon in which all options lose money each passing day as they approach expiration. When you're selling options, time is on your side. The more time passes without anything fundamentally changing, at least in the underlying asset, the better your chances are of making profit. So for this example, I'm going to choose the May 1st expiration, which is 34 days away. Now you'll notice that the default view gives us the best trades for the stock. You can select Show All right here to see more. Now that we've got our underlying asset and expiration date sorted, it's time to choose our strike prices. Remember, the goal is for the stock to trade above the short put strike at expiration, and the long put strike sets a floor on the trade. So it's natural that when selling a bull put, we start by selling a put below the underlying's current trading price. Let's apply that thought process here with Johnson & Johnson. Say it's trading around $240 a share. As a trader, you want to choose the safest available trade with the lowest strike prices. And that would be the first one, the 225-220 spread. For this trade, you'd sell to open a $225 strike put and receive $2.90 a share. Then you can buy to open a $220 strike put and pay $2.59 a share. And that would bring your net credit to 31 cents. And remember, since options are for 100 shares, that would bring your total credit to $31 per spread. This trade has a potential maximum loss of $4.69 a share, or $469 total. But it also has the lowest loss probability here at 22.5%. These are the chances of the trade ending at more than a 1 cent loss. However, it does have the highest risk-reward ratio at 15 to 1. But what if you're looking for a lower risk-reward? Well, let's try another example here with Caterpillar, which is trading at $695 a share. Let's say you choose the 600-550 put spread right here, and with this one, the net credit is $5.05 a share, or $505 a contract. Now, this trade has a 15.5% loss probability with a 9-to-1 risk-reward ratio. The maximum loss is $44.95 a share, or $4,495 per contract. However, you can see from the loss probabilities that the chances of Caterpillar stock trading below 550 at expiration are rather low. Now, let's fast forward to May 1st, the expiration date. Since the trade was started, Johnson & Johnson reported its first quarter earnings for 2026, and the stock fell to $227. But it's still above $225, so the trade is still a winner, and you keep the $31 in net credit. Let's jump over to Caterpillar, and as you can see, it's up 28% since late March. It's now trading at nearly $890 a share. So this put credit spread is comfortably out of the money, and both options expire worthless. So we've got two successful bull put trades in our hands, but I want to emphasize that even though the strategy limits your risk, it doesn't mean the risks are zero. And I think the results of these two trades demonstrate that quite nicely. In both examples, we can see the effect earnings had on each stock. Johnson & Johnson stock dropped while Caterpillar soared. Now, for Caterpillar, the highlighted risk here was opportunity cost. At the start of the trade, no one had any idea that the stock could move up so much. And we could say the same about Johnson & Johnson. The long puts create a sort of insurance from a larger loss. In Johnson & Johnson's case, it was a close call, but in Caterpillar's, it wasn't needed. And that's how insurance works. It's good to have when things go wrong, but we hope we never have to use it. And I also want to touch on the risk of early assignment. This comes with any option that you sell. If the short put goes in the money before expiration, it may be assigned. If that happens, you'll buy 100 shares of the underlying at the strike price. But you're also left with the long put that you can assign, and it'll save the trade. So you really only know the results after the trade is over. But what if you could crystallize your profits or protect yourself from maximum loss? Well, if you can close the spread out at any point of the trade and keep 80% of the net credit, well, most traders would happily do it. And it's guaranteed money. And you can even set this trade up at the beginning with many brokers. In the case of Johnson & Johnson, when you sold the bull put and collected $31, you could have set a take profit order at around $25, which is around 80% of the net credit. And with Caterpillar, that's around $400. The point of doing this is that you let your brokerage do all of the grunt work for you. And that's the same for a stop loss. You could set a stop around 150% of the premium, around $45 for Johnson & Johnson and $750 for Caterpillar. Just remember, if the brokerage is able to fill these orders, they will, without giving you a phone call. It is a more advanced strategy, but it eliminates the need for managing the trade minute by minute. Now, tying all this back together, the bull put is a powerful income-generating strategy that offers a risk-defined structure that's best suited in neutral to moderately bullish markets. But remember, bull puts are not designed to make you rich on a single trade. It's all about grabbing small opportunities with favorable setups that are tilted in your favor. To maximize your chances of success, be careful about selecting your underlying asset, sizing your positions, and choosing your strike prices. Because at the end of the day, small, consistent wins with minimal exposure are the key to staying solvent. You can be right 90% of the time and still lose money if the maximum loss is too big on the remaining trades. So it's best to keep the position sizes reasonable, avoid chasing premium, and always ask yourself, what's the worst case scenario, and am I comfortable with it? But now I want to turn it over to you. Have you sold bull put spreads before? And if so, how did it go? And do you have any other topics you'd like us to cover in the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're there, if you found the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps others find the video, it supports the channel, and it makes sure that you don't miss out on our future videos. I want to thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.